Architecture is a fruitful career if you can select the right jobs within the actual profession. Today, we're talking about 5 in-demand architecture jobs, as well as 5 jobs you should seriously avoid. So we're going to start with my top 5 that you should absolutely avoid. First of all, number 1 on this list is draftspeople. Draftspeople are phenomenal and they are essential in the architectural service. However, if you're just starting out as a draftsperson, you're going to have one hell of a wild ride getting experience and actually training yourself up to be valued as a draftsperson. Experienced draft people are irreplaceable, but they're very, very far and few between as well. So as a draftsperson, you're going to be looking for jobs more than you're actually going to be working, and you're going to have an extremely hard time at the very start. You're probably going to spend most of your days looking at toilets, handrails, stairs, and everything that is incredibly dull and boring that you're just going to hate your life doing. Once you're obviously experienced, you're going to be doing those nitty-gritty architectural custom details, really fine-tuning your skills, crafting your understanding of construction, and making an absolute fortune doing it. But unfortunately, in the build-up, you're not going to have too much fun. Next on the list is a contract administrator. Now, as architects, we have the ability to contract administer almost any project. But personally, I see contract administration as a huge legal liability. It is one of the elements that can get you in so much hot water so quickly. So you have to cross all of your T's, dot all of your I's, and make sure everything is perfect from day one to the day you hand that project over. Now, that isn't actually my biggest concern with contract administration. For me, contract administration is 100% time dependent. You need to invest all of your time into this contract. You need to be looking at every single detail, and it consumes all of you. So what that means is it's a very hard career to scale. As a contract administrator, if you're looking to grow a business, if you're looking to grow a brand, that means you're going to have to hire just as many people per job as you're able to do. So scaling is going to be human dependent, and most of your actual capital and most of your income is going to go straight back out to all of the other contract administrators that you've had to hire. Moving along that same path, we have project managers. Project managers are so critical to the whole architectural experience and in the construction industry. A project manager will run that job from start to finish. They'll make sure things are delivered on time. They'll make sure people rock up when they're supposed to. And if they don't, well, they have to chase, they have to follow, they have to make other arrangements. Just like a contract administrator, project managers are all time focused, meaning you have to dedicate 100% man hours to be able to achieve 100% of the results. If you reduce the man hours, the results reduce. And just like contract administrators, project managers have huge legal liabilities. So for me personally, contract admin, project management, there is just not enough in that business itself, in the career, to be able to grow it to a very prosperous long-term career. Now, obviously, having said all this, both can be extremely profitable careers. If you're somebody in contract administration or project management, you can do exceptionally well at this. But you only can do exceptionally well at this. Growing a business out of either of these two is incredibly challenging, and there are so many easier ways to do that, which we'll talk about later in this video. Next on my list of jobs to avoid is a Metaverse Architect. We've been talking about Metaverse so much over the past few years, and with the Apple Vision just released, well, the Metaverse is coming back into the forefront of our minds. But unfortunately, Metaverse architects aren't valued at the moment, nor will they most likely be valued in the next 5 or 10 years. After that, who knows what's going to happen with the world? It's most likely going to change significantly. 10 years ago, Facebook was barely alive. Now it dominates most of the world, and so do other social media platforms. So to predict further ahead than 10 years is just a little bit too challenging. But as for the Metaverse and Metaverse architects, I think if you can stay away from that scene and focus on the physical realm and focus on contributing to the actual valuable assets in the real world, you'll do significantly better. Last but not least on this list is billion-dollar project architects, and that's billion with a B. Now, this is obviously my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. I know so many architects that work on billion-dollar projects, be it stadiums, hospitals, skyscrapers, whatever it might be. These billion-dollar projects are incredible. They're going to stand the test of time. They're going to change skylines. and they're going to be iconic for as long as you can remember. However, billion-dollar projects are, well, billion-dollar projects. To be able to produce something like this takes an infinite amount of hours, an infinite amount of manpower, hundreds of architects, hundreds of draftspeople, and more people in that project than you can count. You're just going to be one sole operator, working your absolute butt off to be able to produce something for somebody else. If you are interested in becoming an architect or working in the architecture field, make sure you visit davidtomich.com.au for some incredible digital downloads and products. You're going to be able to find some of the best digital resources available on the internet in one space. That's all I have to say. Scroll down and check it out right now. Now let's move on to what you actually came here for. The 5 in-demand projects in architecture right now in 2024. Something that you might not be aware of is an architectural broker. Architectural brokers work very similar to mortgage brokers. They are people who have immense networks, but no desire to create anymore, no desire to be architects. And all they do is find the right clients and distribute them between amazing architects. Now, architectural brokers are few and far between, but they genuinely have to do very little besides network to be able to get these jobs and then pass them on to other architects. It is one of the jobs on this list that is incredibly scalable, incredibly quickly. So if you're looking to make millions, billions as an architectural broker, this is something you can do if you have the right network. If you don't have the right network, but you have an incredible brain and an incredible ability to code, well then you might be on the right track for this next job. As an AI software architect, you can do so much more than any other architect can in the same amount of time. So let me give you an example. Archistar is a program that I've used many a time before. It's something that I've talked about on this channel. Of course, they've never promoted it, but that's okay. Archistar is architectural software and engineering. All it does is utilize standard design codes, implement some AI technology, and straight away you're able to design hundreds of variations quicker than you could ever draw them out. So as projects become more complicated, as more regulations are introduced into the planning frameworks, as architecture becomes more of an actual planning exercise than a creative one, these AI technologies are going to become so incredibly powerful and so valuable to all architects around the world. If you step back into a little bit more of a traditional space, the BIM world is overflowing and BIM specialists are in demand. As we move to more of an economical architectural approach and economical construction methods, we're utilizing and employing new construction methods, which means people aren't sure exactly what to do on site, so therefore they would like it to be documented perfectly. Digital clones and exact BIM replicas are becoming more and more popular, especially if you're working in that billion-dollar space. So if you do want to work as a billion-dollar architect, potentially you might want to consider specializing as a BIM specialist. The last 2 on this list, you don't need any training. You just need YouTube and a half decent computer. The second last on this list is a professional 3D renderer. The more we step into the real world and the metaverse and all of these elements where we're trying to replicate the real world digitally, 3D renderers are going to become so much more valuable than anybody else. A high quality photorealistic render can help sell a property, it can help market a property, and it can even help spark new ideas. Yes, you are competing with AI generated technology that can render incredible things in seconds, but it still can't render exactly somebody's idea exactly the way they intended it to be. What gives photorealistic renderers the edge up over AI at the current time is the ability to change specific objects, specific colors to impeccable detail. Last on this list is something that I think will be one of the most valuable architectural careers in the near future. If you aren't looking to be specifically an architect, somebody who is able to render professional, photorealistic 3D videos will do incredibly well for themselves. It's only as of late that 3D rendering videos have caught up to photorealistic images. It was always miles apart from what you were able to produce from an image to a video. But now you can produce some incredible 3D videos, which means you're allowing people to understand space materiality, light, and sense of emotion rather than just providing a still image. This takes an extraordinary amount of work to be able to master 3D rendering videos. It takes an extraordinary amount of computing power, so it is not something that anybody can just jump on their age-old laptop and start exporting, because it's just going to be rubbish and nobody's going to pay for it. But what people will pay for is photorealistic, lifelike 3D videos. Anyway, that's all from me, team. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smash that subscribe button and help us reach our 100K goal in 2024. It is a huge goal with a long way to go, so I appreciate all of your support. Whilst you're there, smash that like button, and like always, I'll see you next week.